Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Ashton and I make faith videos here on YouTube. Today's video is going to be a chit chat get ready with me. So if you're interested in seeing that and just talking about how to become more disciplined and consistent, then just keep on watching. All right guys, so y'all know that I do not really ever do chit chat get ready with me's on my channel because I am just not a makeup person. But if you can tell from the background, I am in a hotel. I'm in New Orleans for vacation, and I'm getting ready for a photo shoot. So I figured since I'm doing my makeup anyway, I might as well just talk to you guys while I'm doing it, to kill two birds with one stone. Y'all, it is 7 a.m. so if I'm losing my words or whatever, forgive me. Sorry y'all if I keep looking at the screen. I'll be forgetting that I need to look at y'all. So when I woke up this morning, so I've been planning to do this chit chat get ready with me since before I left. But when I woke up this morning, I honestly was like, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about, besides the fact that I've been super inconsistent on here, and I just really wanted to talk about that with you guys for a little bit, and just talk about like what God has kind of revealed to me about my inconsistencies. And if I'm looking over here, it's because my mirror is over here. So I really just wanted to talk to you guys about what God has revealed to me about my inconsistency, my lack of discipline, and stuff like that. And then when I was in the shower this morning, he gave me a little bit more that I want to share with you guys, and he actually gave me an exercise that I plan on doing tonight and that I want to encourage you guys to do as well. So if you're subscribed to my channel, or you just like watch my videos in general, then you know that a couple of months ago I posted a video saying that I was doing a challenge, and it was supposed to be like a 50-day challenge, and it was like focused on spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being and health and all of that. And so the first couple of weeks I did really good, and then after that I just fell off. And I feel like that is quite literally the story of my life. Like, I'll do something for a while and then I'll fall off, and that even happened here on YouTube as well. And so I'm just like, God, why? What is wrong with me? And I'm not gonna lie, I felt super guilty because I had asked you guys to join me on the challenge, and there was even like, I created a group and everything, and I kind of just left you guys hanging. So to whoever was in that group, I do want to apologize for my lack of discipline, and I do want to ask you guys to forgive me, because my prayer is, and my hope is that my lack of discipline didn't cause anybody else to fall, but I know that that probably did happen. And so I want to apologize first and ask you guys to forgive me for that. But secondly, I just felt super guilty about just starting something and not finishing it, and just feeling like that's what my life has been, right? Starting a business and not doing anything with it, starting something and not doing anything with it, and just, you know, just not understanding why I couldn't finish what I started. And so I've just been wrestling with that, just honestly beating myself up about it. And I know that that's not what God is doing, but you know, as humans, when we feel guilty or when we feel shame around something, we beat ourselves up about it. And so that's kind of where I've been at until I came on this trip. And so I am here by myself, and it has been amazing to just see like how much I've grown, and just how freeing it is to be somewhere by yourself and to not need someone to travel with you, to not feel like, oh, I need to be in a relationship to travel, or I need to be doing this to travel, or whatever it may be. But just being able to just come out here, just me and God, and to actually enjoy the time that I have by myself, being able to go wherever I want, whenever I want. And so it has honestly been an amazing experience, but I've also been able to connect with God and to really listen to him in a way that I feel like I wasn't when I was back home and just like surrounded with just day-to-day life stuff. So I was watching TikTok yesterday, and people hate TikTok, but if you get your For You page right, it can be super motivational, super, and I'm not gonna lie and act like there's not stuff on there that's like horrible, but what you watch will continue to pop up on your feed. So or what you interact with rather. So if you interact with a lot of like Christian videos, inspirational videos, you'll get a lot of that. And so this one video had come up, and I'll try to like put it over here somewhere, but it had come up, and it was this lady, and she was talking about what it means to be a person with vision, and how a lot of people confuse being a person with vision with being a person with like goals. And I feel like that was me, and that video really spoke to me, because I feel like my whole life I have been a person with goals, right? I've been, oh, I want to graduate high school with this GPA. Oh, I want to go to college and I want to finish in 4 years before I turn 21. I want to move out of my parents' house. I want to do this. I want to do that. And these were all just goals, right? And so even with like YouTube, I want to hit this amount of subscribers, or I want to make this amount of videos. I want to post one video a week. And just finding myself either one, hitting those goals and then just dropping off, and not like setting a new goal, or if there's an obstacle in my way, or if things get difficult, just like scrapping the whole goal altogether. And I feel like that's something that I do, especially with like weight loss, with trying to lose weight. Is like I'll either say, okay, I'll just break my goals down into smaller goals. And so I'll be like, okay, I want to lose 5 pounds. And if I hit that 5 pound mark, then I don't say, okay, I want to lose another 5 pounds, right? I'm just like celebrating that I lost that 5 pounds, and then I'll lose all the progress. Or with like YouTube, for a few months, like in 2020, I was going heavy with the 4 videos a month, and I was like sometimes even doing more than that. And then when I saw the results from it, I stopped doing it, and I was just kind of riding the wave of old work that I did, right? And so I was just like wondering why I do that. And I realized after watching this video is because I've been my whole life a person who is just goal oriented. And I'm not gonna say that that's a bad thing. I think that it's a good thing to have goals. It's a good thing to chase your goals and to be really detailed. And you know, we're always taught about like SMART goals and stuff like that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with goals, but I think that if you are just goal focused, that there's a limitation there. And so I was watching that video, and then this morning in the shower, God was just talking to me about vision, right? And how I need to become a person with vision. So what does that mean, right? And so I have like some notes here, so I'm going to be reading from my phone. But one of the things that God said to me was that so I asked the question, how can I become more disciplined? And God, and like through this video and just in the ways that he was talking to me, he said, in order to become more disciplined, you have to become more vision focused. And why does having a vision matter? What even is a vision, right? So a vision is a picture in your mind of what you want something to look like. So you could have like a vision of your whole life. You could have a vision of the marriage you want. You can have a vision of the family you want. And the reason why it's different than goals is because goals focus specifically on like the actions that you need to take to get to this part, but goals don't focus on what happens if something comes up. Goals don't usually focus on who do I need to be, right? They're very action based. But when you are a vision focused person, the vision is so big usually, especially when you allow that vision to come from God. The vision is so big that, one, you understand that obstacles are going to come, but the obstacles are not bigger than the vision itself. And number two, when you have a vision, you're able to see the type of person that can make that thing come true, right? Who do I need to be in order to have that marriage? And so, like I said, I asked God, how can I become more disciplined? And he said, become more vision focused. Y'all, I'm gonna come right back because it's 20 minutes. It's 7:20 and I'm still on my eyebrows, so hold on. All right, y'all, I'm back. So some of the things that God was saying to me about vision focused people is that, one, those who have vision understand that obstacles in their way are not more important than the picture in front of them. And so this is one of the things that I feel like I struggle with, because when it comes to goals, I'm able to set a goal, but whenever an obstacle comes in my way, I'll be like, well, skip the goal, right? Whenever I want to lose a certain amount of weight, but it's taking too long, or I'm working out consistently, but I'm not eating right, and so I'm not seeing the results that I want in the time frame that I want, I'm like, well, this is pointless. This isn't gonna happen, blah, 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 blah. And I kind of just shut down, instead of, if I was a person with vision, I would understand the importance. And I think that that's another thing, the difference between a vision and goals. When you have a vision of the life you want to live, of the person you want to be, of the marriage you want, of the type of job you want, of the type of business you want to have, you understand the importance of that thing. You understand the importance of, why is it important for me to have this type of marriage? It's important to me, one, because I've never seen it in my family. It's important to me because it allows me to break generational curses. It's important to me because it'll allow me to be an example in the kingdom. Why is that important to you, right? Why is the vision important to you? And we usually don't do that with goals. And so when we don't meet our goal, it doesn't hurt us that bad because we don't understand the importance of it. And I hope I'm in focus, but I know the lighting is terrible. So obstacles do not get in your way when you are a person of vision, when you are vision focused, because you understand that the vision is so much bigger than the small little mountains, the small little obstacles that are in your way. So another thing about people with vision is that they don't quit just because things get hard or because they've seen a little progress, right? And so I think that there's two sides of the coin. There's people who either quit when things get too hard, which I have been, or there's people who quit when they reach a part of the vision because they think that they've made it. And God is like, but I've shown you so much more. I've shown you bigger. And you're quitting because you think you've made it. And God's like, you haven't even scratched the surface of what I want to do for you, what I want to do through you and in your life. And I think that that's something that's been really hard for me as a person who has written books and self-published them at a young age and has just seen some type of success. Not, I'm not making bank or, but just to be able to do some of the things that I've done in such a short period of time at a young age, and to just be like, oh, well, God, look at all the amazing things you've been able to do through me. And God is like, girl, that's like 1% of the vision that I have for your life. And I'm like, well, that seems a lot to me, right? But we just don't realize how much God really has for us. And if we became more vision focused, we would be able to say, thank you, God, for doing X, Y, and Z through me. And thank you for the rest of the things that you're going to continue to do through me. And so that's what a person with vision does. And then another thing, and I think that this one is the most important. And when God said this, I was just like, man, that is so true. He said, those who have vision understand that there are consequences for not just them, but the people connected to them if they do not do what they're supposed to do. And so, for example, we can just talk about like the challenge that I was supposed to be leading, and the fact that there were people who joined the challenge because of me, right? Because I started it. There were a lot of people who were like, oh my gosh, this is just what I've been needing, or God has been talking to me through the same area. And the fact that I dropped the ball by not being consistent and not being disciplined could have influenced somebody else who also dropped the ball. And so that is a consequence of me not being vision focused. That's a consequence of me not being vision oriented, because now there's people who aren't seeing their progress. Now there are people who are seeing consequences on behalf of me not doing what I was supposed to do. And so you can see this in pretty much every area of your life. For example, I work at a nonprofit with children called Youth for Christ. And let's say that when I first felt called to go into ministry, I was like, no, I don't want to do ministry, God. I don't think that I'm the right person for this. I don't think that this is what you're really calling me into. If I had done that, imagine the lives of children. If this is where God has called me to be, and I don't go here because I'm not vision oriented, or because I have these goals of becoming a multi-millionaire and climbing the corporate ladder and doing all of that, if I have these goals in my mind that have been ingrained in me since I was a child, and I'm focused on those instead of being focused on the vision that God has given me, what happens to the lives of these kids that was supposed to be impacted by me, right? And that's just a personal example in my life, but I'm sure you can think of examples in your life where God has placed you somewhere, and you not being there would directly affect the people that God has called you to. And so we have to understand that there are consequences to us not walking in our purpose. There are consequences to us not completing what God has called us to start. There are consequences to us not starting the business, or starting the business but not really fully launching it because we're scared. There are consequences to us writing the book but not publishing it, right? There are consequences to us not finishing what God has called us to start. There are consequences, and those consequences don't just affect us, right? Because we know that the body is connected, it is fitly joined together, where every joint supplies its share. And so if you're not supplying your share, there's another part of the body that is losing out on the nutrients it needs to survive and to supply its share to someone else. And so this is really just what God has been pressing on my heart about my inconsistencies, my lack of discipline, and just not following through on the things that I said I was going to do. So with that being said, the question might be, or this is a question that I had, and I was like, okay, God, I hear you. So how do I become a person of vision, right? How do I switch from being a goal-oriented person to now becoming a vision-oriented person? And he gave me 3 things to do. So the first thing that he told me to do is to pray, go into prayer, and to just ask him to give me a vision of what my life would be if I was disciplined and consistent. So God, what would my life be if I was disciplined and consistent? And this can be hard to see, right? Because you might realize that you're supposed to be a lot farther than you are, but you're not because of your lack of discipline. You're not where you're supposed to be because you've started and quit so many times. You're not where you're supposed to be because you didn't move last year when God told you to move, right? And so that might be hard to see, but what will be even greater to see is that no mistake, no sin, no disobedience on your part changes what God can do in your life, changes what he can do through you. And so go to him, ask him for the vision, and do not be scared, do not be surprised when you see it, because it's going to be so much bigger than who you are right now. And that leads me to the second thing that he told me, and that is to write down the type of person you must become in order to manifest that vision. And when I read that word manifest, I felt like someone was going to be like, manifest, what is that, blah blah blah, what does that have to do with it? But the word manifest, one, is in the Bible, and it quite literally means to make something come to pass. That's what manifest means, to make something come to pass. So if God has given you this vision, what type of person do I need to be in order to make something come to pass? And of course, we know that only things that are in God's will happen. But we also know that faith without works is dead, and there is actions on our part that we must take. But so often we focus on these actions and we don't focus on the person that we need to be in order to complete those actions. Because even like with the weight loss challenge, I can tell myself, okay, I need to wake up early to work out, I need to make sure I'm eating right, I need to be able to say no if I'm offered certain types of things. But what type of person do I need to be in order to do that, right? If you're a people pleaser, saying no when somebody asks you to go out for a certain type of food is going to be really hard, because you don't want to disappoint them, right? If you're a people pleaser, saying no if someone asks you to do something when you know you need to be working out, is going to be hard because you're a people pleaser, right? So what type of person do I need to be? If I'm trying to start my business, but I have family members that constantly ask me for money, saying no to them is going to be hard if I'm a people pleaser, right? And I just keep using people pleasing because that's something that I struggle with. Don't nobody in my family really ask me for money though, but that's just that's just an example that came to my head. But that's what I'm saying though. Who do I have to be in order to make these type of decisions? Because the decision making happens first in your mind, right? You make up your mind first if you're gonna wake up and go work out early in the morning, and then your body follows, right? So who do I have to be up here and who do I have to be here in order to make those type of decisions, in order to manifest the vision that God has given me? And then the last thing that God told me to write down was the consequences of not manifesting that vision. What are the consequences to me not making this happen? This vision that God has given me, what are the consequences to me not making that happen? And that's also going to be very eye-opening, right? Because a lot of us are going to realize that there are some consequences that don't just affect us, but they also affect our family members. They also affect the people that we work with. They also affect generations of people, right? Because if I'm supposed to open this business and God gives me this vision, and in the vision it's a multi-million-dollar business with 100 employees, what happens to the lives of those people who are supposed to be employed at a business that I refuse to start, right? What happens to my children? What happens to my family if I refuse to heal my inner child so that I can enter into a relationship with the godly man that God has called me to be with? What happens to the people connected to me if I refuse to become the person that God has called me to be? Right? So often we just think about ourselves, but we don't think about the people who are literally connected to us, whose lives are literally depending on us doing what we are supposed to do. So I'm gonna list these things in the description box, but one more time, the exercise is to, 1, ask God to give you a vision of what your life would be if you were disciplined and consistent. Number 2, write down the type of person you must become in order to manifest that vision. And number 3, write down the consequences to you not manifesting that vision. So that is the exercise. So that is pretty much all that God has really shared with me to share with y'all, and pretty much the exercise that he told me to do. So I am going to finish my face and then I will come back and talk to y'all when I'm all dressed. All right guys, so that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching and joining me today. If you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe so you can join the family, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.